Hi, Dr. Biology here, and welcome to my update 6. This one is regards the race for a vaccine. So we're looking at how we are getting on, how the science community is getting on at producing a vaccination for COVID-19. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover a lot of GCSE biology related to how you develop a vaccine, and then how do you safely check that the vaccine is going to work but not cause any side effects on people taking the vaccine. I'll also discuss about the current research and the speed of research. It's quite amazing to see that within this short space of time, so many scientific laboratories around the world are looking at finding a vaccine to immunize populations from COVID-19. So quite an exciting time on a scientific level, quite a worrying time as well in terms of the rate of infection, but there is a lot of good news to come, and I'll be talking about that too. So I hope you enjoy my little update, and here we go.
Before I talk about vaccinations, I'm just going to talk about some basic biology of infection and how we protect ourselves. So the first thing to say, this is a COVID-19 virus, and on it you can see these projections, and these are known as attachment proteins. So these are the things that attach to the cells to gain entry. And these attachment proteins, and any attachment proteins, you can find them on bacteria as well, they're known as antigens. Now our cells have antigens too, but our white blood cells know not to attack our body cells because they recognize these antigens. But if they're what we call non-self antigens, then white blood cells in your immune system will attack whatever it comes across. So when a virus invades your body, so here are the viruses, these green blobs, okay, they will then try to enter host cells, and they will take them over to replicate inside of them. Now, in terms of your immune system, you have white blood cells. So a white blood cell will be going around doing three things. It'll either be engulfing pathogens, so engulfing them, so digesting them, or they might be producing antitoxins if they're fighting pathogenic bacteria, or thirdly, which we're quite interested in, is the production of these things. Now these are called antibodies. And what they can do is that they can actually attach, so you can see that they've got a similar shape to the antigen of the virus, and they attach to those shapes, so those antigens. And once your body recognizes that viral antigen, it starts to produce lots and lots of antibodies. And these antibodies are all connecting on to the antigens, and they're clumping these viruses together, so they all get clumped together, and then it allows white blood cells to come along and engulf them and destroy them. Now the problem is, in terms of COVID-19, is that it's a brand new virus. It's a virus that has never been found in humans before. And so it's taking our immune systems, it takes the immune system a long time for the correct antibodies to be produced. And in the meantime, the viruses are doing their work inside your body, and for some people, unfortunately, it can really do quite a lot of damage. So rather than waiting for your immune system to produce lots of antibodies, what scientists are looking at is producing a vaccine that actually protects you, so your body produces the antibodies before you are infected with COVID-19. So I'm going to talk about what happens next. Vaccinations. So the first thing is, what scientists will need to do is that they need to find the virus, and they need to make sure that it is COVID-19. And what they're going to do then is literally cut it all up. So they're going to use different ways of cutting it all down to size. And then what they will be left with is some dead or inactive parts of the pathogen. So here I've got some of the antigens of the COVID-19. Okay, and they cleverly put it into a vaccination. Now, just to let you know, I'm not going to show any live needles or anything like that, so you don't need to worry about me showing you those things. And what they do is that they then inject through using a needle, inject it into your body. Okay, so they inject these dead or weakened or inactive pathogens, and they get into your bloodstream. So once the dead and inactive parts of the pathogen are in your blood, they're not going to cause you any symptoms or give you the disease, okay? So because they're inactive, but the white blood cells will pick up on them because they are not like your cells, not like your cells. So the white blood cells will move in and they will ingest and they will digest these antigens, and then what will happen after a while is the production of antibodies. Now these antibodies will remain in your bloodstream, and actually you produce what we call memory cells that remember to produce certain types of antibodies when you get infected. So now your cells know which antibody to produce at any one time. So this means that you have immunity. So in terms of COVID-19, if you have the correct antibodies, then you are going to be immune to the COVID-19 virus and not get the viral infection. And ultimately, this means that if you were infected with COVID-19, your body would respond super fast and stop you getting any symptoms of the viral infection and protecting you. For any drug, you're going to have to go through certain stages in terms of trying to develop it, and particularly a vaccine. So as you can see, these are what we call the stages of clinical trials. So the first thing is that you have preclinical trials. Okay, so preclinical means looking at things like it's tested on cells, tissues, and possibly live animals. Usually that would occur for several years. And then it goes to phase 1, which is human safety. So you use that with healthy volunteers that receive very low doses to test to see whether it's safe and effective. And then if it's safe, they then expand the test, and then healthy volunteers, and then some patients would be given the treatment, and then eventually you would reach the point, phase 3, where it can start to be given to lots and lots of people. Now in normal situations this would take many years. Okay, so for some drugs it can take over 10 years for them to be produced, but obviously with the COVID-19 vaccine things are moving very quickly, and in fact it's just taken 9 weeks. Okay, so 9 weeks to go from preclinical, so working out the genetic code for COVID-19, and now they're on a phase 1 clinical trial, and that has only taken 9 weeks, which is unprecedented really. This small clinical trial is involving 45 people at the moment, and they're taking the first steps to understanding whether the vaccine could protect people against COVID-19 infection. However, there is a word of caution, because scientists have got to obviously check that it works, but they've got to really be careful that the vaccine doesn't cause any other symptoms or problems to people who are being given the vaccine. Once they have developed a vaccine, then it's going to have to be produced in large quantities. So whilst scientists do develop this vaccine, it's really important that we take all safeguarding issues really seriously. So physical distancing between people, washing our hands, isolating ourselves and not travelling away from our homes unless we really need to as a key worker. So in terms of the scientific research going on around the world, I just wanted to show you this infograph from Sky UK, sky.com, and it's really good. It just shows you how many organisations are involved in the developing of the new vaccine. This, by the way, is not just the places that are doing this, but there are many other places, also private companies involved as well. So the great thing is that the world scientific community is sharing all their data and sharing the information as much as possible to produce a vaccine for COVID-19. So here's the UK first of all, the United States, France, Germany, Australia, China and Hong Kong. I hope you've enjoyed this update and it's given you updates on the development of the vaccine for COVID-19. Please do subscribe and more updates will follow.